See, I was better in Japan.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah, TSC show here, Oklahoma last year. Scores were very high during the week, so they played quite a bit different in the arena. You know, obviously they hooked a lot more than what we thought. I elected to go with the urethane and play a lot farther right than I did all week, just trying to stay out of trouble, and you know, did that for a little while.
Yeah, I mean, it was very interesting to me to see you throw urethane because obviously, like you said, all week I don't think anybody threw urethane. So
no, scores were really high during the week, and never even thought we had to, but they hooked so much in this arena.
Oh, it was incredible how much they hooked.
But you know, good packed house there. It was a lot of fun until one shot for me, but we'll get to there. But you know, everything else was status quo. They got kind of tight down lane. You see your ball kind of.
Yeah. I think that had a lot to do with you know, what you were doing on the lane, and I really, as we go through the match, I really struggled on this right lane. The left lane hooked a little bit more for me. There was more of an area to throw the ball to, so it seemed to be a little bit easier. It was first shot here, if I remember correctly, I think a 3-6-10, and I think that was just from, you know, starting the show. When we start, I always tend to hit the ball a little bit harder, just because the nerves are getting up and heart rate's getting up. So I think a 3-6-10 here, yeah.
It's definitely the you know, that's still the fun part of bowling on TV. You know, you get a little more amped up, excited. If you start losing that feeling of getting nervous, it's different.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you're not human if you don't get a little bit nervous. So, and luckily, like the year prior on this show, when I bowled Doherty the year before, apparently my spare shooting was really good because I don't think I had any opens in the 2 games that I've bowled in this arena for the TSC. The year before I lost to Doherty, but I made the 310 once, I think, and a couple 3-6-10s. Like, I made some pretty tough spares to be on TV.
Right.
So.
Yeah, this is one right here. I wanted to re-rack here, but they had already picked up the ball, and I forgot about that rule there. I'm not real happy about it because this rack is not real good with the urethane ball, but get fortunate here to knock them all down. Yeah,
it's close.
Yeah, that rack was not good.
He's got a really good look, and he's
yeah, early on in this match, I was really worried because obviously I know your record on TV is one of the best ever, and it seemed like you were feeling it pretty good, and you know, the little smirk there, you know.
Yeah, I wasn't real happy with the fact that I couldn't get the re-rack.
Right. But you know, as we got through, I think you threw what, the front 5, I think it was.
Yeah, I think it was the front 4, and then I missed on the right lane. I threw a
Okay.
bad shot. But this right lane was hooked way more. I thought for sure when that one hooked back that things were pretty good, but the right lane kind of gets me, and I actually think the one that actually probably cost me the tournament, other than the missing the 10-pin, was the one before that on the left lane. It overbounced, and I wanted to get away from that spot because I didn't want to go high, and then I just walked away from it. But
yeah. So, see here, I've thrown octane carbon. I actually threw that ball literally the entire week. So I had about 3 or 4 of them that I threw. Very, very fortunate break there.
Yeah, I forgot about that one.
Yeah, very fortunate. That could have 2-8-10 as easily as it struck.
These things, you know, you go back and watch these shows, and obviously all I can ever think about is the shot in the 10th, but you see a lot of things. You know, the shot in hindsight, the shot in the 8th or the shot in the 9th wasn't a good one for me at 4 pins. I missed that. I totally forgot that I missed a 10-pin in like the 5th frame here.
Yeah.
And, you know, just on the right side and wrong side of it.
So I made a little adjustment there on that left lane. I moved a couple left. You know, in that situation, getting a good break on the right lane, it's one of those things when your opponent's throwing strikes, you have to take advantage in that situation. luckily I was able to make the right move and throw a good shot and take advantage of that break that I'd gotten in the third frame.
Yeah, step up and make a double there and parlay your a little bit of a break there.
Absolutely.
And instead of being down, 40, you're only down 10.
Yeah.
I really don't know what was going on with this lane because it like that one gets away and it comes back.
Yeah, and when I'm sitting here watching your last two shots, you missed right and thrown urethane on that pattern. I'm thinking, wow, both of those could have 2-8-10'd
Easily.
And when I saw those two shots get back, I was like, I'm in trouble. I'm thinking that I need to bowl 260, 250, 260 this game to have any chance at this point right here. So,
yeah. 250 was a hard score in the middle of the lane this day. They were, the game before against Dom, I didn't throw a double through 5 frames, and I was getting ready to get out of the urethane ball, but we went to commercial, and we came back from commercial. I talked to Rob Gottschall, the ball rep, and we were like, well, Dom he's only 10 pins ahead of you, so stay in it and see what happens the next 2 frames. And, they both struck, and then that was it. This one was actually one of the better shots, but the urethane got kind of right in the middle, and
yeah,
it's a place where the urethane ball can't strike.
and what happens next here is
Yeah, just
one of those things that, as a competitor, and I don't want to make you feel old here, but I watched you bowl for a lot of years growing up.
You just made me feel old, EJ.
But as a competitor on my side, I've watched you win and win and win and come through so many times. This is the last thing you ever expect from someone that's as seasoned, has been around and won so many times.
I haven't missed very many spares on TV. That was just
no,
just a little lack of focus there and thinking about looking ahead instead of staying in the moment and making the spare. And
this is where I kind of
you lose the right lane.
Yeah, I really, because the 2 shots I had struck on, both were light swishers.
So make sure you got it started and it just
exactly.
went early.
And I felt like I kept missing a little bit left as well. As you can see, this ball, it barely gets the 10 board there, and the 2 shots previous were probably 6-7. So good 3 boards left.
It's amazing how our brain thinks you're just gonna
right
not get it all the way there, and then you help it a little bit, and that 3 boards turns into one. It looks like it almost breaks loose and goes Brooklyn. Now you're thinking, I can't get it there and I can't get it in.
Right, and the frustration doesn't come out yet, but I've been in this. I think this is why this situation I got so frustrated, because as you see there, I'm 2 and 3 as the top seed in my career, and 1 and 2 in majors.
Yeah.
So at that point in time, it's like, is this really? I want to keep going back to the right lane and not striking and not throwing good shots. It's like, is this really going to happen again? And that starts going through your mind.
I'm stewing over the fact that I missed a 10 pin.
Yeah. Yeah, and luckily, like I said earlier, like the previous year, my spare shooting was very good on this day, and in the end, it's what won me the tournament. Was I didn't give away any pins, and it kept me in it.
Yep, and it's actually what lost me. I wouldn't even needed a mark in the 10th had I made the 10 pin.
Exactly.
That was the old gas. And that's kind of where that lane kind of spooked me a little bit, because if I threw it a little hard, it never hooked, and then if I got it right, it felt like it wanted to bounce. And in hindsight, if I had to do it all over, I would probably move my feet too right, and I would just give it a little firmer one and try to almost not try to 2-pin, but
yeah, and I'm sitting there thinking when you get up in the 10th frame, after I had missed, because I could have doubled in the 10th to force you to strike.
Yeah, or double, actually. I think it was a double because I was on a mark.
Was it? And I'm sitting there after, because I know the previous shot on that lane in the 8th frame, you went really high or crossed over or something like that.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there thinking, if I'm in his shoes, I'm just going to throw a hard one.
Yeah.
And
I tried to
hope to leave something makeable.
Yeah, I tried to make a normal move, and
right.
that's just lack of concentration, and just made a bad shot. But the fact that one hooks back is that's my break right there, opposed to the one that you had in the third. That one just rolls back because I threw it soft, and it starts early enough the benefit of the urethane.
Yeah, because I'm sitting there and I see the angle going, towards the gutter a little bit, and I was like, oh, this is going to miss the head pin.
Yeah.
And then it just rips off and comes back, and I was like, wow, he's got the whole lane. I mean, I'm going to have to figure this right lane out, like now.
Yeah. I didn't like him in the middle of the lane because, you and I bowled a lot together that week in qualifying, and we both played pretty close to where we each other played in the middle of the lane. And that was just, I couldn't get it through there. I felt like I had to throw it through there. Then it didn't get through it didn't make it back. And then,
right.
It didn't really hit when it got there.
And I know in this show I showed a lot of emotion, a lot of frustration. The biggest frustration comes from, I know I can't get the ball right, but I tried to soften my speed up and roll it a little bit more, and I just couldn't get the ball off my hand and get it right. And I threw the 5th frame, the 7th frame, and the 9th frame, all 3 in the same exact spot.
Yeah.
And that's why you see so much frustration coming out on that right lane, is just because I just couldn't make the shot. I couldn't force myself to make the right shot, and it really got to me.
Yeah, there's so many times when we try to slow down a little bit, soften up, throw it. No, we still got to throw it farther right than we are, but we've already seen a couple wiggle, and it's like our body and our brain just don't cooperate.
Yeah, it was a crazy chain of events in this one. Luckily, I had the left lane figured out.
Yeah, I was really surprised that you didn't double in the 10th. I thought for sure you were going to double in the 10th and make me double. And in all honesty, I think I would have rather gone that way, because I would have probably, I don't know if I would have
made the
big
safe.
Move, I probably would have just said, all right, you got to double, see what happens. But this shot right here is the one that these next 2 frames that caused the one in the 10th to be not such a good shot. Just this one goes high when I try to square it up a little bit to get away from it.
Yeah, because off your hand I thought it was pretty good, and
that one went early.
Yeah.
And I didn't really hate that one. That was more closer to what I'd been trying to do, and I just kind of kept leaking them right, and they were rolling back. But so then when I finally threw one on the trajectory I wanted, I was like, okay, that's really good. And it didn't even attempt. So fortunately, I make this one, though. It's good, 1 for 2 for that on this in this game.
Yeah, I wasn't too sure, because I know, at least for myself, you get in these situations and you miss one, it just hangs in the back of your mind about shooting the next one.
Yeah.
We have to put it out of our mind, but at the same time, it's still there. You're still gonna think about it a little bit. So I'm sitting there hopeful that you're thinking about it a lot and you miss it again. But
yeah, this one is another one that causes me to move. I trips the 4. Sorry, I thought I was on that one. I actually liked. I don't know if they show the other angle, but I actually liked that one a lot, and it really just ricochets. So I got one end that hooked, and then that one was pretty good, and it tries to creep high. Probably should have 4-9'd, but it was one of those things that was another break for me on the left lane, and now I got to go back to the right lane where I just went high. That one just overbounced, and I'm thinking, all right,
And obviously, I get up in this situation, you get up in the 9th and 10th, and again, I throw it in the same spot that I've thrown it for the previous 2 shots. And, you start seeing a lot of frustration come out. And, again, it's just the pure fact that I could not get the ball where I wanted it to go.
Right.
And I know that I couldn't move left, because if I did leak it right, I'm going to miss the head pin. And that lane was just, it was, you can see,
people take, I had a lot of people contact me taking it the wrong way, and they don't understand that we're just mad at ourselves. We're not really mad at anything else. We're just mad because those were specifically on us. And
exactly, all the frustration that I show in this TV show is not towards you. It's all towards myself that I just could not make the shot. And there was quite a few people that contacted me and told me, I mean, there was some pretty ill stuff that I got about this show. I mean, it is what it is, but, you know, I know what I was doing, and
I knew what you were doing. It was never one of those things, but, yeah, a lot of people, a lot of mixed emotions about things here. You know, people don't necessarily know exactly what we're thinking going through here. I'm pretty positive that you're going to double here, and I'm going to need a hit, especially after you get the first one.
Yeah, it wasn't dead flush, but I mean, I made a good shot.
It was a good shot.
And the next one, I gassed it just a touch, and it missed the spot. It didn't pick up it gets a little bit farther right because it doesn't pick up as quick. And I just gassed it a little bit. And I mean, it still got there. It had a chance to strike, but it really wasn't my best effort.
I'm still trying to figure out what I'm going to do on the right lane.
Right, and I'm getting up in this situation. You know, I'm looking at the scoreboard thinking, okay,
if you strike here,
if I strike and I strike in the fill, if you miss, I win.
Yeah.
You know, because I have 218, and you can see the ball wiggle just a little bit there.
Yeah. Just a little quick, and thumb went down just a fraction.
Yep.
It just missed the mid, and
absolutely, it missed it just enough to leave that little shaker 10. And you know, at this point, I'm thinking, okay, I just lost the tournament, because you're not going to get up there and do something stupid. Because again, I go back to how successful you've been in your career. Obviously, we know things happen, but you know, I'm thinking I lost this tournament.
Yeah.
Because I didn't strike there.
Yeah, so I basically decide here that I'm going to move 3 and 2 left and try to keep it in the hole and do the same thing and be soft with it and roll it and do everything else, and then adrenaline kicks in and I walk away from it a little bit, which is my tendency when I play the right, and I get it farther in the hole and it literally never hooks. You know, it's just one of those things that by the time I looked up, the ball was kind of where I wanted it to be, because I was trying to get it in and keep it in the hole and think it was going to hook, but I just throw it hard, and you know, I slide about 4 left to where I have, and it really never hooks. And I'm completely shocked right there, even though at that point I didn't really know what had happened, because it didn't look that bad to me. And then I go back and watch the shot and realize I moved like 3 and 2, and I slid like 4, so I ended up walking away from it and threw it hard. It was just hard and gassed and in the hole. And nothing worse than having to make the washout when you have already missed a 10-pin that day.
I go back to, in this situation, I'm sitting there thinking, well, the first time I bowled in Japan, he made the spare to, you know, almost beat me in Japan. And I'm like, the washout's not an overly difficult spare to make, but in that situation, you know, it might as well be the 7-10 split. I mean, to have to make something like that to win a tournament is it's pretty hard. I
was in complete shock there of whatever went on, and you know, obviously, it never makes it easier, but it does make it easier that it happened to someone that we get along so well. If it would have been someone that I really don't disagree or get along with, it would have been even harder. But you know, it definitely had some lingering effects from there until the next week, and we went on to bowl the Masters the next week, and I bowled terrible. I just wasn't in the right frame of mind to bowl, and
yeah.
You know,
I mean, I could definitely see how that could happen. I came out very, very fortunate in this event. You know, I got some good breaks along the way. And, you know, I hate to say it, but, you know, just a few slip-ups.
Yeah, we both had a couple breaks in the game that could have gone either way. I mean,
exactly.
And, you know, at the end of the day, missed a spare. You can't miss a spare. You miss a spare and give guys on the tour a chance. You made all your spares. You make the 310, and, you know, if I make the 10-pin, I have a victory lap right there, and I get to just enjoy it and go out and do whatever I want to do. But, you know, it is what it is, and there's our perspective of the game. You know, congratulations to E.J. Tackett for winning the Tournament of Champions, and I'm sure there's going to be several more majors in your career. And, you know, hopefully we get a chance to do it again for a major, and
absolutely,
I'll be looking for the other outcome, and you'll be looking for the same outcome.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Tommy. I appreciate it.
No problem, buddy.